So good evening, ladies and gents, and welcome to the WGL EU Season 5, Match Week 5, and we are back after the Christmas break with more tank action. And of course, I'm still joined by my partner in crime, Ollie. How you doing?
I'm doing very well. Excited to get into 2015, of course. Match Week 5, Part 2 is coming up.
Yes.
If you miss Part 1, you can check the results out on eu.wgleague.net. But yeah, super excited.
Yeah, I think we can briefly talk about that one as well, because just talking about that previous play day, there were some form of upsets. If you want to look at it on paper, at least, Utopia picking up that 5-3 scoreline over EPS, which is pretty impressive. EPS looked as though maybe they'd cooled down for Christmas a little too early in that one.
Yeah, and they lost New Multi-Show, the star player, of course. We didn't really lose him. They kind of... They decided to part ways. Obviously, the team was heading in a different direction. They thought New Multi-Show wasn't adding to the team anymore, so not a great result for them, but they've added a new player, so we'll have to see how that works out for them, of course. But, you know, Utopia have looked strong the whole season, so it's not too surprising.
Utopia, it's weird to think that a near-on newcomer is able to bring such potential into this league, but they really are holding their own, currently sitting in about 4th. But regardless of that, we'll get onto that in a moment. After that one, we even saw WST Gaming picking up a victory over Woosa. Now, at the start of the season, you'd have said that's fairly typical. However, Woosa's season thus far has been pretty darn impressive.
It's been very good. They're sitting second at the moment, only to Virtus Pro. They picked up a win against, of course, School Bus, who've really dominated the European scene for quite some time, picking up Season 4, and of course, Rumble in the West. So very impressive stuff from a reformed team. They're doing very well overall indeed.
Yes, and there's those rankings. Just to refresh your memory after the Christmas break, hopefully you guys at home did have a good time and a good New Year's. However, for those teams starting to sit outside of that top 6 position, they're going to have to start picking up that work in the new year. Hopefully some of those resolutions might include some more team practice, because looking at those points, they are fairly close. From, I'd say, around 7th to 1st, everything can still change there. And
I'm surprised a little bit that Virtus Pros managed to sneak themselves ahead going into the new year, because they haven't had an amazing season considering their usual form.
Very true.
A couple of tiebreaker wins, which is only giving you the 2 points these days. But they are doing well. Of course, they've got some hard opponents soon. They're going to be meeting Kazna Crew. So a few interesting matches for sure. I mean, we're only literally halfway through the season right now, so a lot can still happen.
Oh, it certainly can. We've seen this enough times that when it comes down to crunch time, that top 6 does start to chop and change. And with the new format, with the new pointing, you know, the way the rules work and the format itself in-game, we're seeing a lot closer results, and there's no one breakout team. Virtus Pro can still be catched. They only took over Worcester in the last couple of weeks. It's not like it's been them clear-cut at the top. Neither is School Bus either. But regardless of that, we do need to mention something very brief today. Melly won't be joining us. I think there's a couple of family issues there, so she needs to resolve those, and hopefully she'll be joining us soon. Send your good wishes to her, hopefully, from all of us as well. So hopefully everything's okay there. But regardless of that, let's start talking about today's games, because that's the big fact of it. It's after that bit of a break, after the couple of weeks they've had off, there's time to practice, and there's also time to rest. And I think we'll find out who's been doing their homework and who's been kind of sitting back and maybe enjoying a little bit too much of that Christmas cake.
Yeah, I think everyone's put on a few pounds over that Christmas break. I certainly have. Jesus, that Christmas cake is got a lot of brandy in it as well as other things. But yeah, hopefully everyone's been keeping themselves together and playing some tanks in between their holidays. Momentum GGWP played, of course, the first match of today is going to be an interesting one. And then we've got Drooling Leprechauns versus School Bus, and finally TCM versus Kazna. I think Drooling Leprechauns School Bus is going to be pretty interesting. But TCM Kazna has typically been very, very good games indeed. So that could be a really close matchup.
And I'm also looking towards Momentum against GGWP played. 2 very good teams who've got their own benefits and minuses. Momentum sometimes showing a good display, sometimes lacking a little. However, GGWP played starting to build into what I expected them to be. Still sitting fairly low in comparison to what I wanted from them in 7th place, but I think they have room to really improve here and kind of build up a little. But what players do we need to keep our eyes on in this one?
Well, Momentum's been pretty stable so far in the season, so they haven't really had any changes. Of course, Rube's still the main man at their top, managing them. Manza, the team captain, is doing very well for himself. I think Momentum is, they are sitting in 10th place at the moment with only 3 points, but they don't look too weak. I think they can be pretty strong. Still half the season, as I mentioned, to go. So they got plenty of time to make themselves have a little bit of a comeback.
And they've also had some extraordinarily tough games. Their first couple, Virtus Pro being one of them, then Woosa. The Leprechauns they beat, which you'd kind of expect, picking them up and then losing to School Bus. So in theory, they've faced the top 3, and they've come out picking up a couple of maps. I think coming into the rest of the season, they have a lot to show in the way of now they've got an opponent that they should be able to take down. Let's see how they fare. However, as you said, GGWL played. They're not a bad side. They do have a lot of potential to get back to that top 6 position comfortably and start really picking up these wins.
GGWL played. I thought they would be doing better, though. I mean,
I do agree.
everyone thought they would be like, top 3 right at the beginning, but they've struggled. I think it's more the pressure than anything else. Everyone knows they're a great team. Everyone knows that they've got a lot of potential, but they've just struggled under the pressure of the WGL. But I think now we'll see some better results for them. Of course, they've had some hard games as well, but so has everyone. There's not really an easy game in this league at the moment. So let's see if they can pick up a win against Momentum, get themselves into the second half of the season well, and if they can, then they're on the right track for sure.
Yeah, they've been picking up those close games, haven't they? Where it's been 5-3 or something along those lines. They took Virtus Pro to a 5-4, and we discussed they probably should have won that. Maybe crumbled a little in those final moments that just gifted it over towards Virtus Pro. But there's a lot of potential. They just need to start getting the wins rather than those close scorelines, which hopefully a bit more of that kind of consistency will pay off towards and calm those nerves. And maybe they've been able to kind of sort that out through the break, because a lot of teams will come out better after a break. Various teams will take a couple of weeks off, just sit back, kind of take a little bit of time, or you get the complete polar opposites who just work through it. So there's going to be 2 very different teams hopefully coming into this, seeing how they've prepared and seeing how they get into this one. But obviously you guys at home do need to get involved as well. We don't have Melly to tell you how to do it, so sadly it's going to have to be me and Ollie. I don't know how we're going to do.
We're not social media gurus.
We're not. I can barely use Twitter, but speaking of Twitter, do get involved, obviously, using that hashtag WGLEU, and the same can be said for Facebook, following the normal URL with WGLEU. So standard stuff there, but I'd love to see your predictions and thoughts, and how you think these teams are prepared coming into the kind of halfway point of the season. Do you think they took a break over Christmas? Do you think they worked through it? And what theory do you think works better, the kind of hard work or a little bit of a rest? Use that hashtag and get involved with us. I love hearing from you guys. But anyway, back to the tanks. We start need to kind of look towards that first map. Now, what do we have as the first map coming up?
We've got Ruinberg, where GGWL played will be defending. Second map is going to be Cliff, where Momentum's going to be attacking. So a couple of interesting maps, a little bit different. Ruinberg and Cliff, we've seen it before. It's the 2 polar opposites. One where you can defend well, that's of course Ruinberg. The one which you can attack well, which is of course Cliff. So we expect the attacker to win on Cliff, which is Momentum. We expect the defender to win on Ruinberg, which is GGWL played. So it's going to be about who can pick up, a round on a hard
side.
Other
side.
Exactly. That's what it's going to be about for these 2 teams. And I think whoever does that is going to have the game in the hands.
And I've got to say GGWL played has that potential. They've shown several times that they can go on that harder side and then start picking up the results. It's just closing out the game that they seem to struggle with. Do you agree, or do you think maybe there's a little bit of room to breathe there for the other side?
I agree. I think it's going to be a struggle, but it's always going to be about who's just better after that Christmas break. Everyone's had some downtime, and it does leave these, like GGWL play, these top teams in a little bit of a vulnerable position. And if Momentum's been getting a couple of training battles, not a lot, but a few in the break, I think they have a real potential to get this win.
Well, we saw it last season. We look back towards what C-Play achieved, and Core Play then lost a couple of players. They've joined even better teams. You can look at Kazna picking up a couple and just kind of being poached, and they really started to pick up halfway through the season, not necessarily after a long break, but they started to really build those wins when some of the big teams get a little lazy, they get a little complacent. And you see the polar opposites. You see teams creeping up that ladder, occasionally picking up wins here and there. And that's how you start seeing a surprise, and teams like C-Play can even make it to the offline finals, who are very far down the table at about the start of the season. Then they just boosted all the way up after that hard bit of work they put in. But tank choices as well. Ruinberg, we started to see some variation. We saw, a little bit of the city play on its own, a lot of the village coming into practice, even a T69 here and there. What do you think we might see into this one?
Well, it's going to be some light tanks for sure. I mean, everyone thinks Ruinberg should be picking up the heavy tanks, but really we only see the MX-5100s. Yes, we've seen TCM pick up an IS-3 before, but
didn't really work.
It's very hard to play. I mean, it's a slow tank, and it's hard to get into positions for that reason. Now, the MX-1390 is going to be featured predominantly, and maybe even a T-54 lightweight, one of those kind of tanks. And artillery can also be used. We're seeing it more and more in these kind of games. So it's just whatever the teams feel comfortable in. We're obviously playing on patch 9.5. This is on a live server, the one everyone's playing on. So there has been some tanks which have been added, the British Tank Destroyer line. Teams don't seem to be wanting to use it. There doesn't seem to be really a tank that stands out, which you can pick up. Yeah, they are good, but they just don't fit into the league for these guys. We'll have to see if a team can actually, bring it in a position no one else thought of. But that's one of those interesting points we have to wait in the season for.
And there's always been those teams who do start to just kind of test things out. A couple of teams who try something new, the 417 come to play. A couple of other tanks that most teams avoided because they were fairly one-dimensional or had that one situation they were very strong in. And then someone just kind of worked it out and it actually paid off very well. And I'm looking forward to seeing that. I think there's a lot of teams out there who are quite ingenious with the way they do start picking these lineups and start introducing these tanks. So you think, well, where's that going to play well into? And suddenly it all makes sense when you see it in practice. Now, I think back to the last time we casted tanks, we started to see a lot of differences in the map play itself, especially in Himmelsdorf. We actually saw the hill coming back into play. Now, I hope to see out of one of these games today we do actually see Himmelsdorf, because that was a massive difference. Do you think any of the maps might change the way they're actually being played out just yet? Or was that just a kind of try it out because it's not the WGL EU, and now we're back here, go back to that standard style?
Well, on the Himmelsdorf play, it was about getting to a good position as quickly as possible in the bush on the lower road to try and shoot those hull-down tanks through the windows. But, I mean, the maps, of course, they change every patch. There hasn't been some big changes on the WGLU map roster. So I'm not sure if we'll see a lot of changes there. But I think, of course, there'll be differences. There'll be differences for the way the teams play it. It's not just been the tanks that have changed. The gameplay has changed a little bit in 9.5.
Yep.
Not a lot, but a little bit, and that does give the teams a different kind of mentality going into these games.
Well, of course, let's bear in mind when we reference these teams, they are that top 1% out of the entirety of a player base near on. Now, even the minor changes, something small as maybe a bush being slightly moved from A to B, or something like that, a tiny little change in the way the maps play out, a new angle to be peaked, that can change drastically in a way an entire strategy plays out. So I'm going to keep my eyes on it, see if there's anything we notice being slightly changed. As you said, not necessarily affecting the map pool that we see on a regular basis too heavily. However, any small changes, these teams will notice and they will try and utilize the best of their ability. We see it time and time again, and I love seeing it kind of being adapted through and what the teams really bring out. You look at the way Cliff changed. As soon as you had that smaller kind of bit of, I wouldn't say village, but the small bit of area that then became playable. It changed the map dynamic just a touch. So these teams will look for that. They'll find it. They'll practice it. And then again, it's been Christmas. Who's been practicing? Has one team sat there and just gone on, that hard grind, just getting it done, trying to be the best they can? Or have they just chilled out? That's the big question here today, is who's really done their homework? And you guys at home, just give us your thoughts on that as well, using that hashtag WGLEU, and let us know who you think's been putting in that hard work over Christmas, because some of these teams will do, some will have just taken a break with their families and just kind of kicked back and chilled out. But predictions overall on this game for you then. Who's going to pick up this one, and in what sort of scoreline?
Well, I would have thought GGWL played would pick it up. They don't seem like the team that takes a break, to be honest, over Christmas. And of course, a lot of their players are from the Russian region, the CIS region, so they don't have the typical Christmas break. They have the Orthodox one, which has just started, I think, into like the 10th or something. Excuse me, I'm not very good in that area.
We're English. We're as ignorant as it gets. So even knowing that is an achievement.
So I think they wouldn't have taken a break. So those kind of teams, I think, would have had a bit of an advantage in that respect. But now they're playing in their Christmas break, so that's also one of the downsides, I guess you can call it. We've already got a few of the teams saying, hey, can we change our dates because of various family obligations in the Christmas period? I don't know why. You should be playing on Christmas Day, in my opinion. Yeah,
everyone at the dinner table having the turkey and all that, and you're just sitting there playing tanks.
Get your little laptop out.
Perfect.
Playing
Absolutely perfect.
That's the way it should be done.
Just don't get gravy on the keyboard and you'll be fine, right?
That'll be a big issue.
That'll be a problem. But no, hopefully the teams will get themselves sorted out. I think they're just kind of getting themselves ready into this one. But let's talk scoreline with these guys. What are we thinking here?
I think it's going to be a 5-2 towards GGWL played. I think they realised that they're not doing so well this season, sitting in 7th. and I think they need to get their act together a little bit if they want to be getting those top spots. It doesn't take long for teams like School Bus and Virtus Pro and all the top teams, Kazna Crew, Worcester at the moment this season, just to run away and nab those top 3 spots by getting themselves a significant score point advantage. And as soon as that happens, GG Well Played, they may be getting a top 6 at the end of the season, but they won't be able to get those top 2 spots, which guarantees them a place in day 2. So that's really where they want to be at, I think.
And the one question I'm going to be asking towards the tail end of this season is, do teams really want that these days as well? Because we saw Virtus Pro really struggle in the previous season finals because they turned up on that second day. They didn't seem warmed up. They didn't seem comfortable. And they made some really huge errors. Now, I always compared it to School Bus because they're the most, I feel, even in skill. And School Bus had that first day, and even they said, my hands were shaky. Arclay was even saying that he wasn't that prepared, but they had that first day to get through it. So I think it's going to be 2 mentalities coming into this one, that maybe the top 2 for certain teams may be a negative almost, unless they can maybe get a boot camp in early. So I'll be interested to see if any of these guys actually do get themselves ready into this one. But still, looking at the statistics for this game, GG Well Played sitting on a 60% win rate, momentum with a mere 29. The Latvians really need to kind of step it up in this. And what do you think's been holding them back?
GG Well Played?
No, other side.
Momentum. Sorry, I'm doing a million things right now, if you might have noticed. Momentum, I think, they're a new team at the end of the day. They've just joined the season. They've got a few experienced players, but it's just about, for them, it's just about getting used to the league, getting used to everything, getting used to being under pressure, and playing it like that. I think, everyone knows that feeling when you're in a new environment almost, and you have to start picking it up. But once you do, you get yourself into a rhythm and you can start getting some good results.
Okay, so I think the teams just need a second to adjust. So we might have to go to a very short break while we just make sure everything's okay with them. So when we're back, we'll be jumping into games, so do stay tuned. And welcome back. So hopefully there'll be no more delays there. Just making sure the teams are ready to go in this one. It has been a short break. They just need to get themselves prepared. So looking at this one then, final thoughts coming into this. Who's the winner on the first map, Ruinberg?
Well, I think GGWP will be able to hold off from the defensive on Ruinberg. Yes, Momentum has shown potential in this one, but it's just so hard to attack. Obviously, a lot of teams are going for cap number 2, the one more towards the south, but it's just hard to get into that village, hard to get into that eastern side. So I'm expecting GGWP to take it 2-0 at the beginning.
Okay.
When we switch over to the other side, Momentum, we have to see if they can actually defend effectively, because GGWP have been very, very good on the attack on this map.
They have been, and that's the one benefit to GGWP. They can play those attacking sides, which generally are a little more difficult very competently, and we've seen them being one of the teams to really adapt it and change it well, and always have a plan, always have an execute ready and lined up. So I'm looking towards seeing how they feel this one's going to go. I'm not sure if they're going to go for that southern cap or where they're going to go for this one. We've kind of seen Ruinberg played a little more standardly recently. It's kind of boiling down into almost what we used to see in that small village on the eastern side. So that's something I'm going to be looking towards, seeing how they approach this one, especially on the attacking side, because they do set normally a trend towards how teams are doing it, or they at least kind of follow the trend of others as to how they do it, but they do it very well.
Yeah, I mean, it's about trend setting and seeing where the meta goes, of course. But anything can happen at this point in time, and we should be able to get underway any second now. We're just waiting for the players just to get their tanks here, and then obviously we should be underway. We obviously, you can see everyone's a little bit rusty as well after the Christmas break.
Yeah, us included.
Us included for sure.
Yep. So yeah, apologies if I'm absolutely awful tonight. I'm not going to lie to you guys. It's not like I sit at home with Manan and try and do some, practice cast with her. You know what I mean?
I didn't even have internet for the last 2 weeks, so it's great.
I've been sat on a tablet watching Netflix, so it's fine.
That's pretty much just described the whole of the Western Hemisphere, what they've been doing for the last 2 weeks.
Got to catch up on that Breaking Bad, get back into it.
Oh yeah, I've been watching that.
Yeah,
I don't like it that much, to be honest.
I didn't get the hype, but
I didn't get the hype.
No.
We're
going to be crucified by Twitch chat now.
I really didn't get the hype.
No.
After watching The Wire, I was like,
The Wire's 10 out of 10 though.
Wire is so much better.
It's so good. Anyway, that aside, go watch those if you're, still waiting on this. Just put it on the second monitor and just mute it though. Subtitles. There you go. Yeah. So it works.
I thought Breaking Bad was at the quality of Spy Kids or something, Remember that
was
film?
a great film. Oh my god. You really have been watching a lot of Christmas TV to be able to remember Spy Kids. That's like you've got to watch Die Hard at some point during Christmas.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I only watched 10 minutes of that. I was watching Bond the whole Christmas.
Oh, Bond, yeah. I think I caught one of them.
Bond,
Pierce
Godfather.
Brosnan, I think it was the one I saw.
That's 3 films. It's probably Die Another Day.
I think so, yeah. With Madonna doing the intro song.
Yeah, that was really weird.
Oh, God, I don't like that.
It's is that Madonna?
Yeah, even my nan was like, who's that singing? I'm like, I don't even know. I knew it was Madonna.
About the same age as your nan, probably.
Exactly. My nan is a sprightly woman. Don't worry about her. She can run up to Marks and Sparks every evening.
Really?
Yeah, and she gets din-dins going.
Cool.
It's like I try and offer to be a nice
person,
don't even talk to me about those little sweeties. It's like every time you exit the shop, just grab one on the way out.
On the right.
Bam, in the basket we go.
Auto.
No, we also went on the teams, hence our lovely discussion. But get involved in the Christmas discussion. What to you highlights Christmas? For me, it's seeing Die Hard on TV, regardless of what one it is. It's always kind of on. And it's always good to watch. Or Bond films.
Bond films. Watched Godfather as well.
Absolutely
quality movie. I forgot how good it was.
Yeah.
You can just watch that film over and over again.
True. What was the other thing that we see? The Coca-Cola Christmas trucks when they come. The advert that always comes on, that also signifies Christmas to me. So let us know using the hashtag WGLEU. What signifies Christmas to you on TV, food-wise? I don't know. It's up to you guys. Get involved. We like hearing from you. We also like waiting on teams because they are arses. It's a new year, all right? This is the new casting style. I'm just going to call out teams because apparently we're 2 men anyway, so we might as well go the full yard. Yeah. Anyway, so how are they doing? Who are we waiting on right now?
The issue is because we use ESOY basically as an anti-cheat, and right now some of the teams don't really, they're not connecting to it or crashing their game with it, so having a few problems with that. So I think one of the issues is that there's like a launcher for the game and there's a client for the game. I think some people connect it to the launcher and then click play, and obviously
wonder why it doesn't work.
And the launcher closes and the game starts, and then why it crashes because it's not.
It's not made for a launcher.
It's not a launcher. Exactly.
Who'd have thought it, right? It's kind of crazy. But still, let us know how your Christmas has been. I'm going to check that hashtag and see if anyone's actually getting involved. Because, normally Melly handles this stuff. And, we trust Melly.
Or Stephen.
We might have a special guest tomorrow. If any of you remember Stephen, I don't know if you'd want to.
He did a cast with me a long time ago, I think.
Did he?
Yeah, we did a C-bit together.
Oh, okay. So he's got some experience there.
I am Katowice.
He needs to get back on the horse.
He did season 1 with Paul Challoner.
That's very true. How many of you were around in season 1? That's the bigger question.
I wasn't even around in season 1.
I was still living in England with a terrible job somewhere. It was great. Dave Tomley, once again on Twitter, one of the most active people that I love seeing from. Still tipping Momentum as the dark horse in this. Hopefully they start coming good. Well, that's true. They've been getting close. That's the thing. So I want to see how well they're really starting to prepare into this one. Any other questions you want to be asking as well? Get a discussion going with us because we need saving, just generally. Just save us with that hashtag. You can also see Stephen. He tweeted out a mug earlier that he got from the More What guys.
Funny because there's 2 mugs in that tweet.
It took me a while then. That's great. No, I didn't get one. Did you get one?
More comedy golf and what? I didn't get one, no.
Yeah, guys, send us mugs, please. Look up Turtle Entertainment's address and get on it. Send us a little bit of something there. But yeah, get using the hashtag, guys, because that's the only way I get to see you interacting with us. I can't exactly get myself into Twitch chat right now, so get on it, get involved. I like hearing from you. Happy New Year from Dave Tomlin. Dave, we might as well get Dave in the studio. He's been tweeting out so much. He's basically having a chat with us. I reckon we just put him over
in there.
Yeah,
good idea.
Come on to the show, Dave. You're welcome. But no, getting back to topic. I don't know if I want to get back to topic. It's quite fun discussing other things. What do you guys at home think?
We're ready now. I think Momentum's got their last player in. We're just waiting on one more, and we should be all good.
Well done, guys. You worked out how to use ESL Wire. I'm very proud. It's quite difficult. But no, I'm very glad to see that's actually happening.
Yeah.
Oh, Ruinberg. Are we looking at the tanks? Do they have them actually locked in? Or do we not trust them until we actually start?
I think they have. I mean, on the side of Momentum, we got double AMX 1390 251, a Hellcat AMX 5100 double 251. So that is
it kind of makes sense, yeah.
In terms of the format. You obviously can pick 5 tier 7 tanks.
Yeah.
A tier 8 tanks and 2 tier 7s, or 6 tier 8s and 1 tier 6, and they've gone for that 6 tier 8s, 1 tier 6 with the Hellcat, of course. But that's Momentum. They are going to be attacking first, so the Hellcat kind of makes sense. They've got a lot of speed there, a lot of firepower as well. It's a decent tank to have as your arsenal, especially considering it's only going to pick up the 6 points.
Yeah.
After that, we got on GGWL play side AMX 5100. Double AMX 1390, IS3 played by International, VK 2801, and Meritorious. Usually plays one of the heavier tanks.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if he's going to be picking up an AMX 5100, but they've already got two tier 8s there, and yeah, they can pick one more. So it'll have to be. I think it'll be something heavier from him.
But I still don't know if I like the IS3 on this map. I love the 5100s. I feel they're great in this. I think they have a nice bit of, I wouldn't say variety, but they have a little bit more option to them. The IS3, once it's out of that initial spot, it just feels that it's so out of place. It's kind of like the elephant in the room once it's unable to play that initial role, whether it be in the city, which we haven't really seen too much of, or if it's up in the village where it seems to be enjoying its place. But I don't know how I feel about it. What are your thoughts on the IS3? We saw Still Mojo championing it for a long time there. Why is this kind of being picked up here in comparison to maybe another 5100?
Well, you don't have to really drive that far as a defender. You basically, if you just put it up into the city, you can deflect a lot of damage and soak a lot of damage there.
True.
I mean, IS3 is not too bad in close quarters. You got 390 average, good armor, good penetration, pretty much everything. But if you get caught off guard and there's some sort of cap going on, then it's going to be too slow, and the MX 5100 pretty much isn't. So it has its cons, it has its pros, and as long as you have a good tactic for it, I think it could work. But I think only on the defensive side.
Yeah, I tend to agree, actually. You are quite correct on that, I do believe. But we'll have to wait and see how this works out, because we've seen enough times that IS3 can be near on negated quite comfortably by a lot of teams. The amount of times I've seen 1390s just circling it almost and just taking it down at the very end. I'm not sure how I feel that one's going to play into it. We'll keep our eyes on it, but I think the teams are just about ready. So hopefully this one does get underway. We will get ourselves into game momentarily once the teams are fully prepared and we make sure everything's working. It's kind of, it's all just a little bit rusty though, and there's cobwebs everywhere. A little bit of old Christmas cake in the corner, but no, we should be getting underway nice and quickly here. Final thoughts on the first round?
I think GGWP is going to be able to hold on for these. Well, I think first round definitely going to take it as a defender, and then I think they're going to have two good defensive sides. It's really what happens when momentum switches over to the defensive side. Do we really get to see, what the result will be, at least in the first map?
Yeah. So I think it's just about time to get into games. So guys, let's start looking at what we have coming up in the form of our first map, which will be Ruinberg. And as you said, in the red, it will be GGWP played and Momentum in blue. And well, so far we are seeing the city being toyed with.
Yeah, Outrun going up into the middle. I mean, as you can see, there's obviously some issues with the mini-map. We know it's a problem. So we know. We're on it. We're on it. It's 9.5. It's been a big break. It's been hard to fix this kind of stuff, but we know, and it should be fixed very soon. But if some initial scouting runs coming up from both, you can at least see generally where the players are.
See, the thing is,
the problem is there's just no graphic for the actual mini-map.
Yeah, and a lot of players out there, if you're veterans by now, which a lot of you are, you'll know exactly where these boys are sitting, and there are some nice new additions to the mod itself, which I'm sure you'll be able to notice very shortly. One, the attack and defending logos at the very top, so just to make sure you're aware of what's going on. And there's the beautiful sound of Meritorious and International getting into position. So we are seeing a northeast hold from the defensive side of GGWP played. A couple of tanks split down towards that slightly eastern village, but not too much. So kind of covering their bases. And what do we think Momentum are really building towards here? Because they're the first team we've seen toy with a little bit of that western side, but not yet fully commit to it.
Well, normally most teams just, if they're going to go up the north, they're going to commit 100% towards it. They're going to put all their tanks into the cap or just where Ron and Meritorious are, and they're going to try and initiate like that. What they're doing right now is that they're kind of splitting up. They're going east, they're going north, probably trying to find out exactly what GGWP Play is going to do, and maybe even just spread some of their forces. I mean, if GGWP Play goes all the way up here, then it's going to be pretty much a no-brainer for Momentum. They just go down south and they just take this cap. So a lot of options for them for sure. Bernergy and Outrun going up north. This has been pretty common. Tanks sitting up in the 0 line and making shots along into the eastern village where Freekill and Manza already are. So it looks like the initiation or probably a distraction is going to come on from the east, and then a flanking maneuver from Momentum onto the rest of the tanks of GGWP played.
Let's see how that one works out, because it's a great idea, but the execution has to be very well done, because they will be overmatched. If they overextend, they can be picked up quite easily. And Manza, fairly on a limb. Manza as an individual player has been quite phenomenal thus far, so we'll have to wait and see what he can really bring. But GGWP played just looking very passive, very calm, not rushing. They don't need to. They're on the defensive side. They just need to play smart tanks. That's all they're doing. So right now, I'm seeing Manza heading in. He might get a little bit of a face full if he's not careful. He doesn't go straight in though. He's going to try and take the smarter route through. Maybe peek out. I don't think he spotted anyone actually, surprisingly so.
And Phoenix would have been ready and waiting for him, as will Griffin and FC Dynamo. Phoenix just wants a spot. He's in a perfect position just to go forwards and get behind those houses. Some damage hitting onto an International. Just receiving 231 there. He has to back up a little bit, but it's some back and forth at the beginning. Looks like, at least for the first few shots, Momentum's doing pretty well. But the thing is, they have to deal with two IS-3s, Meritorious and International, and then they've got Griffin in the AMX 5100 as well. Whereas if you look at the lineup from them, they haven't really got that much HP. The only one who can really do some real damage is Lito in the AMX 5100.
It's going to be a tough time now with 3 minutes left, and they've received a shell, which pretty much negates the early work the Momentum did. They're pretty much even on HP, but as you said, those heavy tanks still in play, those big IS-3s still on the board. There's going to have to be a bit of a move coming out from Momentum. So we are seeing that starting to build. Manza getting himself into the cap, going to try and force the hand of GGWP played to try and make a peak very soon, try and stop it. Then again, there's a lot of firepower starting to roll towards Momentum. Whether or not they can withstand it, we'll have to wait and see. But Mont Diablo and Ron splitting off towards the northwest side, going to make their way around the long side where the rest of the forces look like they want to go for the brawl down towards that southern cap.
Let's see if they can actually reset this cap. Ito's there ready and waiting, and maybe those IS-3s are going to start coming into the equation now as Meritorious International can go hull down. But they've still got plenty of time to play around with, and I think they want to take out Free Kill first.
They're going to single him out, take him down, and hopefully with little to no reply. Meritorious just holding the guard. Ron, Mont Diablo and Phoenix move in. Free Kill, I don't think he's even got really a shot back, and he's going to be picked up. 1 or 2 shells maybe hitting on towards Phoenix, and then Meritorious taking one as well. A good exchange there in favor to GG well played.
Yeah, nice little bit of damage there, but they still have to deal with the rest of Momentum. And Mont Diablo still on the side. The cap has stopped for now. And Momentum's probably going to do a last-ditch attempt up into the north.
They're going to have to. They're running out of options. They are on the attack. They need to bring the game to the opponents. And already Outrun getting hit up there as... Oh, Bungus takes a massive hit from the side. That's 609.03 damage done. He is down and out, and Griffin will pick that one up. Bungus goes down, leaving just a couple of tanks left, really, for Momentum. And they're getting done in here.
Yeah, there's really no chance for them right now. Damage going all over the place. Griffin does dispatch of Outrun there, leaving 4 tanks left for Momentum.
And look at this, Leto is in a bad way right now. He's going to be taken down as well. Mont Diablo doing some marvelous work for the boys. Now 3 left. Bung just knows that Burn just can't do anything here. He might be able to pick up International if he's lucky, but Manza a little bit further out. Him against FC Dynamo here, but it's 3 tanks against near on the entirety of GGWP played. They've held their numbers, they held the line, and Manza just cannot break through as FC Dynamo gets that reload available, comes around, gets the shot, gets the job done, leaving just 2 alive. Road being 1 and Burn the other with merely 55 HP. This is not looking good. Griffin moving round, Phoenix on the hunt. This is going to be over very quickly if Burn's not careful. FC Dynamo hunting in. He's going to take the shot, but on the fly, it was Griffin who picks it up. And now Road, the last man alive, 30 seconds left, and there's no point to stay alive in this one.
Yeah, Road and the Hellcat does fall. Only 1 tank International going down for GG well played, but it is the IS-3, so it's not too bad. Out of all the tanks you want to lose, the IS-3 is really there because it means that you've taken a lot of damage and it's soaked a lot of damage.
It did its role perfectly. I doubted the IS-3, but it was played very nicely. As you said, in its position, in the right way, it can do some brilliant stuff. So, GG well played, picking up that first victory, looking very strong there in the first round. So, looking forward to seeing what they can bring in that next round here. So let's take it from Momentum's point of view, because they're the team that had to go on the offensive, that had to try something, whereas GG well played have that more passive approach of just waiting, which is the defensive team's bonus. Now, what do we make of Momentum's attack there?
Well, it was a couple of pronged attack. Of course, they came from below and they went for the cap, and then they tried to revolve around. But the thing is, I just think the tank lineup from GG well played was so hard to break down. Also, they didn't get too panicked by the cap. They took down Free Kill in that AMX 1390 first, and then they moved on to the cap. Momentum went into the village to try and deal with, the rest of the tanks there, but they just found themselves Meritorious in the IS-3. They took him down, yes, but they, they used so many resources, so many shells to actually do that, that they didn't really have much else for the rest of the game.
Well, it's certainly something to keep in mind. You can hear the festive music in the background. It is still Christmas, do not fear. Deep down in our hearts, at least. And maybe in the CIS regions as well. So
it's still Christmas technically as well. It's until the 7th of January, I think.
Really? Is that the official date?
I'm not sure exactly what happened on there. Again, I'm not really that religious.
We're not very good at this, no.
No.
But
I think it was...
once.
Yeah, I was Mary, actually.
You were Mary?
I was Mary.
I bet you look beautiful.
I was gorgeous.
I was a little angel. I don't know what really went wrong. I think it was just like the generic one that you just can't do anything with.
At least we weren't a donkey.
True.
I think that's
Stephen. Yeah, he is known to be an arse, so makes sense. And thank you very much to everyone who's been tweeting in and using the hashtag. I love hearing from you guys. We've had some brilliant stuff actually coming through. Die Hard was agreed on by Samuel, saying can't do Christmas without it. Siish even said, well, to me, Christmas is not having to play tanks. Instead, eat, party, and drink. He means Panda Pops, obviously.
Yeah, clearly. That was a good drink as well.
It was amazing. The blue one was so good.
Pretty sure they actually did a documentary on how illegal it was, and that they found like a big warehouse in Milton Keynes where it was being made, and it was like way overdosed in every respect. Yeah.
My childhood is ruined, but I think round 2 is counting down, as you can hear, until we get underway into that second go of this one. GGWL Played will still be on the defensive side, and on the attacking side will be Momentum. They need to bring themselves together, because I assure you, GGWL Played will bring out those big guns on the attack, and they can pick up attacking halves. Do not doubt them in that sort of aspect. So, into game we go. Let's find out what they can bring into this one. As once again, as promised, GGWL Played on the defense and Momentum on the attack.
Let's see if Momentum has more to offer this round. They didn't do too well last time. I think they did a good amount of damage, but it was kind of mitigated by GGWL Played. Same kind of start though. Bunges, Free Kill, Leto and Road all heading up north. The other 3 heading towards the right. Obviously, you know, Manza, wherever Manza is from Momentum is pretty much where I think most of their forces will be towards. So let's see. Let's just wait and see. I mean, Momentum looks strong. They've been strong this season. They just need to be able to beat GGWL Played once on the attacking side, or they need to be able to defend twice on the defending side. That's their 2 options right now. They still have both, so certainly have a lot to offer us in this matchup.
Yeah, and let's see what they have coming into it. And as you said, a fairly similar start from the side. And Manza just looking for this one. Taking his time, being fairly cautious. And that's the sort of approach you need. So, at the moment, Burn still down in the south. These 2 did previously make their way up the east side, so it looks like a fairly similar strategy this time.
Yeah, they're exactly the same strategy for Momentum. They went up north, I think. I'm not sure exactly why that is. I think it's more to do with them just trying a couple of angles. I mean, north is fair enough. If you want to come from there, get some spots out, and then heading down south. They've got lots of time. First up goes shells coming out from Mans as well. Does connect 254 damage onto Meritorious in the IS3. He's the one that went down last time. So let's see if they can do that again. Captures on the way. I'm not sure if Mans is going to be sticky into this one. I don't think he actually meant to reverse that far. He's kind of giving the game away in that respect. But once again, most of the tanks up for Momentum heading up the 0 line. This time, Free Kill and Leto are there, and Mans is going to come down to support. So once the cap does start, GGWL Played will have to adapt their strategy slightly to stop it.
Let's see how it comes into effect. This is a near-on mirror, excuse me, of the way the last one played out in a way. And last time there was a big amount of damage that came back towards Momentum after that opening shot towards GGWL Played. So, Meritorious taking a little bit of early damage. A couple of shots coming through, so Outrun and Bungus need to be a little cautious. Just playing it smart. Manza holding his nerve, probably where I wouldn't. As you said, that cap will be the next factor. And what do they need to change Momentum to make it work this time?
I think they need to get their focus fire better. I mean, they did a lot of damage to GGWL Played, but they only managed to take down 1 tank. So they need to focus and need to just execute better into the city, catch them out a little bit. Obviously, the cap is not really an option. It's extremely hard to cap. But they are starting to edge forwards now. Bungie, Bungus, Outrun. There's only 3 tanks, and there are 3 and more heavily armored tanks there. 4th if you count International. So the execution can be perfect. First shell does come on.
Oh, and Outrun gets caught by International on that cross, and now in trouble from Phoenix on the right side. There's very little cover available to him here, and no one else wants to make that cross because more fire will come through. Phoenix back and forth, waiting for someone to dare to peer out. Bungus just looking for an angle to make a shot from. A little bit of damage finally coming back in towards GGWL Played, but International so low from that crossfire coming from Leto and Free Kill. It's really doing some work. Down to a 1 shot. This could cause some real trouble to GGWL Played if they get caught out this early on. Outrun a little low as well, but not the end of the world. But a stunner comes out from Bungus, picking up the shot, taking out International. That's a big tank out of the game early.
And Meritorious just receives a lot of damage. A little bit does come back to Manza. Mary can't really peak too much anymore. It's down to about half HP, so great start now for Momentum. They saw the positioning for International last time, and they put Leto and Free Kill in 2 great positions to counter that, taking down an IS3. But they have received a lot of damage for their worth. Outrun's down to a 1 shot for an IS3. Bunges has also received 2. So they can't exactly keep the pressure down. They need to keep on going. They need to go forwards and make this one work for them if they can.
Well, it's down to GGWL Played now. HP pulls slightly against them, but Nothing too drastic, however they are down a tank. Manza now pushing out of the cap circle. They have forced the likes of Phoenix, Diablo and Ron out of position. If they can punish them for this, that'd be perfect. However, not going to be the case. Do not get spotted. And Manza will retract back to his usual position. And Freakill and Lito seem to be such good supporting players in these instances. They've been doing marvellously on that cross. As Diablo will start to try and make a play, just looking for maybe an angle to keep those shots coming in towards. And I've got to say, it's a bit of a stalemate right now, but I want to see what Momentum can do to really pull this in their favor.
Well, the thing is, GGWP doesn't need to do anything right now. They can just sit back, relax, and wait for Momentum to make the next move. They got Ron and Meritorious in quite dangerous positions there, but they're kind of keeping their nerve, holding their nerve, and not going too far forwards, not committing too much. Cap does come on the way. They need at least 3 tanks in there to make it work, since 120 seconds with 754 is the base now for the kit-based capture time. Phoenix does heading around, and a little bit of pressure is being applied to GGWP.
Certainly is. GGWP gonna have to really focus down this game. Diablo going on a little bit of walkabout. Freakill is still waiting, and I like this damage coming in from afar, trying to keep GGWP as far back as possible. Quite a bit of damage now received though by Momentum. They're gonna have to be a little cautious. Meritorious down to a 1-shot though. Manza looking for it, spots Ron, goes for the shot towards Ron, doesn't get it, and that's allowed Diablo and Ron to get a little closer to Lito and Freakill. This could be a nice counter push coming in, but look at the damage. Ron receives a faceful, and now Diablo gets a little bit for himself. Freakill 1v1, Diablo gets in, Lito just about there to help him out, but Freakill gets a lot of damage here, and Freakill's taken an absolute beating as Diablo stays alive at a 1-shot now. Freakill goes down, and this is a little bit closer than I expected.
35 seconds left on the clock though. Lito does take down Diablo as well. Griffin heading around onto Manza.
Griffin, I think, with that first shot there, but he gets the second, and Manza down to a 1-shot now, trying to dodge these shells. Not going to get it. Griffin delivers as FC Dynamo now has to come up big, trying to stop that cap. They've been resetting every now and then, but Phoenix goes a little aggressive, and Burn catches him on the side, but Dynamo comes with a supporting fire, but one gets replied back by Road. So a nice little even exchange, and once again the HP pool is so even, but look at the time, 7 seconds left, 6 seconds left. If this has to happen, GGWP would have to fall, but Griffin staying alive is huge in this, and Momentum just can't do it, and GGWP doing it beautifully on that defensive side.
Yeah, but that was close game for sure.
Too close.
It was a little bit too close from them. They didn't really do too much damage. I mean, for the relatively small tanks Momentum has, they did a lot with them. 1.6k coming out from team captain Manza. Freakill with 1.4k. Yes, Phoenix did almost 2k in that MX 1390, but I think what really carried GGWP in that matchup was the tank lineups. They had more HP and they could use them more effectively in the city for that reason. But it was really close. I mean, 3 tanks apiece at the end. It could have gone a lot closer if the, Momentum had, for instance, another minute. Yeah,
1 more minute and that could have changed the whole landscape of the way that ended. But it doesn't matter how close it is, the win still went with GGWP at the end then. So it's a 2-0 scoreline to them on, you could argue, the easiest side. So we'll have to see what they can do now when they go onto the attack, which is a lot harder in my opinion. I think it requires a lot of skill, a lot of focus fire, a lot of kind of tactical ability of being able to kind of really direct where they want to go. So if Momentum wants to really mess around with GGWP, you've got to pick up those 2 defensive sides. If I feel GGWP gets 1, this could be a very tough game.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. If GGWP now wins 1 attacking side, I think we're going to see them run away. I mean, 3-1 scoreline into the second map is great, especially when you consider GGWP will be attacking on Cliff, so they should be able to pick up the 2 rounds no problem and bring it to, for instance, 5-1. That's right now. If GGWP takes 1 map on this, that's where we'll probably see the game head towards. But still, I think Momentum looking very strong. They look rested, and that last round really showed us that they can put the pain to GGWP if they really turn up the heat.
It's very true. They got them down to 3 tanks. They had 3 of their own. They were quite fortunate in a way to still have Griffin in play, and I think it was in that 5100, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it was.
At the end then, which had so much HP, it can take a lot of soak in there. Maybe not as much as your IS-3s, but it still has a lot of HP to mess around with. So it would have been very tough at the end for Momentum to just break that one down. But still, to get it to that point means that they're improving step by step. However, now on the defensive side, I'm not sure how well they're going to play on the defense. I'd say, personally, GGWP has always been quite strong on the attack. Maybe not to the extent they'll win every time, but they have a lot of potential to pick up 1 out of the 2 attempts. I don't know how I rate Momentum as a defensive side. I think they're probably competent, but would you say they excel at it?
I think they're pretty good. I'm actually think that they could be better as the defensive side than they are attacking.
Okay.
Obviously, that's the proof's in the pudding. We have to see what happens in this round. But as you said, the 2 teams are now going to be switching over. GGWL Play is going to be attacking, and Momentum's going to be defending. So it's going to be an interesting match. As I said before, we're looking to see if GGWL Play can actually win one of these attacking rounds. If they can, I think this is going to be a pretty one-sided matchup.
We have to find out. It's down to the attack now. This is the important ones you've got to keep your eyes on if GGWL Played pick this one up. There's going to be real danger into that second map. So as promised, GGWL Played in red will be on the attacking side now. And on defense is Momentum in blue, looking to try and change this one around. 2-0 currently to GGWL Played. Not something that surprises, but now it's about how they deal with the attack. Can Momentum do the job, or will it be a little too tough for them? We'll wait and see, but this looks like an all-in play down the straight road there, and a little bit of early damage coming through. And FC Dynamo takes a little on the push. Meritorious, trying to get one back, but good opening shots there from Momentum, but a very fast cap coming out towards that south side.
Yeah, they're going to go for the quick cap right now. A little bit of damage does come on as Momentum in great position still with it.
Let's see what they can do. It's all about the damage and the sustain, and can they soak it up? And there we go, 48 seconds on the cap. It looks like GGWL Played have finally got those IS-3s and the 110 in position. So let's see if it gets used. FC Dynamo's been pinned down. He's in a lot of trouble. Mondiablo needs to bail him out, but it's Meritorious to come up for him as Free Kill will be taken down, who's desperately trying to remove FC Dynamo from the face of this rather transparent map. So cap still underway, 2 tanks towards it. Griffin takes a little. Bungus going on the flank here. He's out on his own though, and that's a dangerous position to be in. Yeah,
he's going to have to be careful. I think actually at the moment Momentum are doing very well of taking it. Amanda is destroyed a little bit by some team kill there, I think, from his players, but great crossfire coming out from Momentum.
Yeah, finally it's coming into play. Maybe this one is for Momentum. It looks like it's going their way for now, as the tanks are still alive for GGWL Played, but the HP really getting chipped away, and on the attack you need to be able to maintain that as much as possible. But Phoenix getting a little bit of a free card there to get some shots in toward Bungus and not getting much of a reply, as the likes of Meritorious were in position covering him off, so hence why Ron just took him down. So a few tanks now remaining, 3 left standing for Momentum. 5 minutes on the board here. GGWL Played starting to make it hurt. The 110 bouncing shells left and right, doing the job they loves, as now Burn, Road and Manza need to come up big.
Well, they're actually going to go in the push. You can see the whole of GGWL Played are getting themselves together, and they're going to try and do the final blow. But Ron does take a lot of damage, but he's only playing the 59-16, so it's not a big deal. He can kind of scamper out there and come from a different direction. But I don't know why GGWL Played is letting Momentum regroup, letting them get into another position when they have such a big advantage.
Yeah, maybe depending on the cap there, maybe just trying to get those shots in, maybe not that confident just yet. We'll wait and see. As now Momentum have that chance, they need to take it and take it correctly. Otherwise, this game will be a 3-0, and that's not what Momentum want. So Road, pivotal in this situation. The other 2 down to near 1 shots as the shells come in. Manza gets formed by International, and now Road gets ignored by Meritorious. He may be looking for Burn here. He's going to be heading forward. Road to the right, but actually he swings around. International now has support. It's 2v1. Road from the side gets hit. International gets left to deal with him as Meritorious swings around with International, picks up the other kill, and now Road left in a 1v, well, far too many. As there we have it, International will deliver, and a great game from him. 3-0 to GGWL Played.
Yeah, nice game from them. Really not too... It wasn't too hard for them. It didn't look like it. I mean, the damage...
They made it look easy.
Meritorious did 2.5k damage. International second, 2.1k third. Was Phoenix with the AMX 1500 at 1.1k. So all 3 top damage leads were playing those heavy tanks. And if you look at Momentum on the attacking side, they were picking the AMX 1390s. They were picking the fast tanks, the 251s. And GGWL Played just went in towards the village, and they just used the firepower and the HP to their advantage and took them down, no problem at all. So yeah, great stuff from GGWL Played. Didn't even look tested. Really didn't.
It felt like it was close a couple of points.
The thing is,
like they had a chance then.
Momentum, they had to play a different tactic. They could never win in that city engagement with the tanks they had. They had to use those 5100s and try and come from behind and get some cross shots on, because that's what they're great for. You're never going to beat an IS-3 and a 110 in that one-on-one brawls.
Well, a lot to be learned here by Momentum. Sitting at a 3-0 scoreline, it's pretty disastrous. If it's 4-0, it could be even worse. That's what they now have to avoid, that 4-0 score. Otherwise, it's near on game over on the first map. So, almost time for the final battle here on our first map, Ruinberg. Last chance, really, for Momentum, I feel. If they don't get this one, I think it's near on GG.
Yeah, I think 4-0 is a GG pretty much going into the next map, especially as the Cliff being the attacker. It's going to be really hard for them to actually be able to take this one down. But there's still chances right now. They just have to pick up this map, this round. If they don't, then they're pretty much done for.
Well, it's do or die time, I feel, here for the Momentum side. Let's see what they can do coming into the final round here on Ruinberg. So, in we go, and GGWP played once again on the attack and on the defense. It's Momentum, and what do we make of these tank choices they're going for here? We said it's been quite imperative thus far, and it looks like Momentum preferring the 5100s to ever trying out an IS-3.
Yeah, I don't think Momentum has really been a team that likes those IS-3s, but you can see straight away the tactic has changed. Burnergy free kill going straight across, Outrun going out on a limb in the MT25. And just sliding his way around FC Dynamo, as he will be the first target, but it's not a big deal if he goes down.
Outrun just going to try and get in there straight away. He's got a little bit of damage. He's getting the information, though, and that tank does have some good sustained damage now, coupling with free kill, and that is beautifully done. Free kill gets it in the end. An exchange, but that 1-for-1 was definitely in favour of Momentum, surely.
Great stuff. I think FC Dynamo went out a little bit too much of a limb, and it has stopped GGWL played in the track. Sponges receives a shell from the side there for an international. Meritorious looking for that second one. And at the moment, it looks like GGWP played are struggling to get themselves into this map. They still have plenty of tanks alive. Montiablo is in a good position now on the side. See what he can do in that MX 1390. But if he gets spotted, he'll die very, very quickly. Ron's going to come
behind him as well.
Going to come in support. Yeah, there is. Free kills right behind him. So, oh, he's shot, and now I think he'll get taken down. But oh, big blow there as Burnergy goes down.
Yeah, Ron just about staying alive. He's down to a one-shot, 72 HP, but the cap has started, and the big player in this that eventually should come into practice will be Free Kill, but yet to really see him come back out. He's been waiting down in that southern side, and while all this happens, his teammates are falling, but Mondiablo gets caught, and surely that's coming in from Free Kill, finally making the shots on the run. Mondiablo tries to get it road, takes down Ron, but still Mondiablo gets to cover and stays alive for another day.
International now in the city at the moment. It's a little bit towards Momentum in favour. I mean, Montiablo MX 1390, as you said, very low on HP. Again, I think this is the weakness of GG played. They're not going in, they're not being aggressive enough, despite the fact that they could take down a lot as Manza does fall.
Finally, maybe in their favour. Griffin does find Bungis though, so left now with 3. Momentum, you've got to do this, you've got to dig deep here, but the tanks remaining for GGL played have so much HP, and Meritorious finding Road has made it worse. 2-0 stand, Lito and Free Kill, and well, it's not looking good.
No, Lito is pretty much dead meat right now, as Griffin probably is going to come off reload and finish him off. Free Kill has still got plenty of HP to play around with, but too many to find to be able to take him down, as that AMX 5100 does go down. Free Kill left for Momentum.
Well, Free Kill on the run, but it's not going to save you in this game mode. This has looked like a very quick 4-0 for GGL played. It's first to 5, so there's another, there is a chance. In theory, it is possible. But at the moment, it looks like GGL played definitely coming out fighting, and Free Kill, he knows his fate. Mondiablo claims it, and GG played get themselves on that 4-0 scoreline. That was massive. A
big scoreline now for them. It didn't even look like Memento could put up a fight against GG played. There were some tentative moments for sure. You know, I think GG played could have pushed in a little bit earlier, but I don't know why they would have lost that. It was such a simple fact of staying in the city and being defensive, but those IS-3s, the 110 Meritorious doing such a great job with the IS-3 International, again doing a great job in that Chinese tier 8 heavy tank, the 110 of course.
There, yeah.
It's doing really well, it's bouncing a lot from the front, and despite the fact that GG played just stopped in their tracks once FC Dynamo went down, they could just push into the city without any pressure, and once they were there, they were very hard to remove, and that's why they won it.
Nicely done. Overall, we said the GGL play does have a lot of potential on the attacking side, and they're proving it every time we see it. Picking up 2 rounds like that, very impressive. And then, as we said, coming up next is Cliff, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
A map that can be played out just as competently on both sides, attack and defense. Of course, there's some benefits to being on one side than the other, but they kind of get negated. It does boil down to being very much the old school style of how to play it out, just that brawl in the middle, with a couple of splits we see occasionally. But do you see Momentum having a shot back into this?
No, I think we'll see GGWP Play take it as a 5-0 right now. They are going on the attackers, and I think GGWP Play has been very good on the attack on Cliff.
Yep.
Yeah, T49 is going to be picked up, and I think it'll be very hard for Momentum to be able to win this one, which is not a great start into the season. They have to win 4 in a row right now. That's the simple fact of it. 4 in a row to bring it to 4 scoreline. Then they can go into that tiebreaker decider and maybe pick up one there. But I just don't see them winning 5 rounds in a row right now, to be honest.
And it's funny, you look at on paper where they're sitting. They're still fairly close to each other on the rankings, but as soon as you get out of that top 8, I'd say, the difference can be unparalleled. Considering we're watching currently 7th against 10th. GGWP played ahead a couple of points. But the difference sometimes between these teams, even in such a small margin, is huge. Once you get into that top 6, you know you're in for a tough ride. They are phenomenal teams in there. But so far, what do we make of the lineup coming in for Cliff? Are we seeing something that may do the damage, or are we just still going to have to see how it goes?
We're seeing a lot of light tanks from both teams, Momentum and GGWP Played. We're seeing 2 M41 Bulldogs, 2 251s, T49, and an AMX 1390. And GGWP Played is still picking some tanks. We have a small break, of course, for them to be able to pick it up. So still waiting on that one for them.
Yeah, just going to give them a couple of seconds. And obviously, you guys at home, keep getting involved using that hashtag WGLEU. And let us know how this one's doing. Do you like how the show's going so far? Are you happy with the tanks you're seeing? Nice to see Samuel, Dave, and all the others getting involved, obviously. And For Potato. Fantastic name. Do get involved on Twitter with that hashtag WGLEU. And your final predictions, is this going to be a 5-0?
I think it's going to be 5-0.
I think we can wait and see if they actually get into game quick enough, because I don't feel if we can get... I don't even want to go to a break. If it's going to be a 5-0, I think all of us kind of feel the same way here. I say this is going to be 4-4, and I feel dire. I feel like I want to, I'll quit. If it goes 4-4, ladies and gents, I will apologise thoroughly to everyone involved.
It will be the biggest upset we've seen this season so far. We did see TCM. I think
TCM have lost it, but
they
that's
were playing against
the one team who can.
They were playing against Virtus Pro, and they were 3 rounds ahead, and they ended up losing 4 rounds in a row.
Because it's TCM, though. It's like everyone else, it's like, let's say 99% impossible. TCM, you never know if they're going to just... It literally is like, oh, they're on match point. Well, let's say nothing. It's still straight down the middle there. There's a lot of teams that get like that, though. It's always, if you look at CS or other games or any other kind of FPS game at its core, that last round, that last pickup is so damn hard sometimes, just because you start second guessing, you start maybe losing a little concentration.
And the other team steps it up as well.
They do, because they know it's do or die time. You have to do it. So there's a lot of teams who've come to that. Sadly, TCM does seem to be the one and only that we always see doing it. But, good old TCM. But let's kind of break down what we can expect from Cliff here, because we've seen a lot of teams coming into this. Is it the T49, if I'm not mistaken, that's been a big game changer? Who's actually playing that for these two?
Manza, team captain, is going to be playing it for Momentum. Yeah, it makes 100% sense. You want your playmaker to be using the most instrumental tank on this map, and no one's using it for GGWP Played right now. We're still waiting for team captain Ron to ready up his tank. He could be picking it up, but looking at the lineup, we got 2 251s, 3 MX-3090s, a T54 lightweight. So that's already 6 tier 8 tanks. So we're expecting a tier 6 to come out from Ron, probably a 5916. That's what he's been playing on Ruinberg at least. So that's the question. But we could see some changes, of course. If the tanks do switch around, someone could be picking up a T49.
I'd love to see that T49 in play.
I think Phoenix would be the one to pick it up. He's the shot caller in those situations. So
no, I've absolutely loved it. I think we saw it. Who picked it up originally? I'm trying to think back. I'm feeling it might be Mr. Chef, who actually tried it out one of the original times when we were watching a good couple of play days ago now. And it just seemed to change the game. And then we saw Elian then picking it up. And then everyone was going, actually, this is really viable here. This has such a good position. And it does so much damage. Take me through what we can really expect from that tank. Because it seems like it would be viable in other maps, but we only ever see it specifically in Cliff.
Yeah, it's just a high damage gun. I mean, you really do like 900 damage if you're using HE. You only have to penetrate an AMX 3090 and a max of 251. So if you do penetrate, you can take down an AMX 3090 pretty much in one shot. That's why the teams are using it. and why it's so effective. It's also at close range because it's Cliff, so you don't have to worry about sniping where the T49's biggest downfall is. So close range, a lot of damage, and that's pretty much what closes it out for that tank.
Do you think there might be any other maps we could see it being viable on?
I mean, never say never, but it's always hard to see. If Mines was still in the equation as a map, we would have seen it on that 100%. But
I miss Mines a little bit.
Mines.
Mines.
But I don't think so. I think, Prokhorov is too big, Steps is too big. Himmelsdorf, you want more HP, and you don't have the penetration to deal with anything. So I think Cliff will be where it's most likely to be played. We've seen it on Steps before once, but it didn't work out.
Didn't really play out. That's a good point. It's a shame. I'd still like to see Mines in the pool. I always liked Abbey and Mines, the maps that most teams absolutely detested, but what can you do?
Abbey.
Yeah, I missed Abbey. It was a good map. I liked it. That's been gone like a good couple of seasons
Wall
now.
of Death. Yeah,
pretty much. It was just because it's so passive half the time. But I'd like to see it played out in this new game mode in a way. But
yeah, we'll have to see where the caps would go.
Yeah, exactly. The caps would be such a weird
Maybe
factor
put one on the top Abbey place, so then just find one somewhere else. So it's a big map. We'll find a place.
It would be a big map, actually, yeah. Seeing it played out. I'd love to see it.
I think it would be interesting, actually. Could be a possibility.
Because it's such a unique map in the way it plays out, but... That's just my opinion. It's the same, like most of those maps where it has like a central focus point, it's very hard to find good positions for those cap circles because it becomes such a awkward place to get to at times.
Yeah.
If you look at all the maps we have currently, I'd say the only ones that don't have, or that do have a central focus point, get played out almost as the previous style. So if you look at maps like Cliff, where we see a central focus point down that middle of it almost, where the teams will generally go to, or that the kind of hill at the middle, it kind of gets played out on a standard style. Same with Ruinberg. But then you see maps where there isn't that central focus point. You see it played out a lot more to the new game style, like your Himmelsdorfs or like your Steps maybe, or something like that. It's quite interesting to see the way the teams have kind of slowly but surely worked out how they want to play these maps. And we're still yet to really see a team break Cliff using those cap circles, because we saw just before the Christmas break a couple of teams completely rushing in on the east side. It didn't work out though.
The only team we've seen winning via cap was WSD Gaming. I think it was against Wusa, I'm pretty sure, in their last match day. So they're the only one who's done it, but it's very hard to do so, and you kind of need to get your elements right, and the other team needs to screw up a little bit. But it was just impressive for them, and I think it shows that it doesn't really matter how hard it is, as long as you do it right and you catch the other team by surprise, it can work. Anything can work.
No, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing if maybe a couple of these teams find that little bit of a strategy that really suits their game style, suits their play style, and how they want to really push this one forward. So I think coming into this, it's now down to momentum. Completely balls in their court, because really GGWL played are on match point just after the first map. That's huge. That's a big difference from Team A and Team B. So really, what do you think is the viable option here for momentum? What is the percentage they'll win on this one, do you think?
Maybe 10%, I think. As the defenders on Cliff, it's just hard to win, and I think that's really where it's going to be. It's really where it's going to be hard for them.
Well, here we go. GGWL played up in the north on the attack, in the south on defense. It will be momentum, and in we go. I think I'll go the other way around, but we'll ignore it. It's Christmas. Just back from Christmas. It's New Year. I don't know. But let's look at the lineups. What are we seeing here? Because we kind of talked through it. Is this what we expected coming out from GGWL played at least?
Yeah, the only surprise, as you said, is there's no T49. and yeah, it was the other way around for some reason. But yeah, they're going to go a little bit aggressive in the middle, some early damage, so definitely going to be hard for GGWL Played to win this one. Burnergy receives their first shell, and at the moment it's actually going away all right for GGWL Played. Yeah,
GGWL Played are going straight in, and they've been able to get Manza and Burn down so low. Ron's still getting into position, and look at this push. It's absolutely huge. Meritorious does take down Burn, but now they've committed. They've got to be careful here. They're over the hill almost. They've got to be able to sustain that focus fire. Make sure they do not lose it. As already Outrun outreaches a little far, gets punished by Ron in the background. And well, Bungus looks like the next on the chopping board, and already Momentum are left in pieces, shattered by the sheer aggression coming out from GGWL Played. Looking like they want to do more. Road and Lito could be next in their crosshairs.
Road is not in a great position either. He's going to get taken down by Phoenix there. Lito, as you said, the one left down on the lower road. They're going to try and flank around. Bungus is the next target for GGWL Played.
This is looking disastrous. You've got to say it how it is. Momentum falling apart as Bungus now as Phoenix moving in international, and he has been taken down swiftly, leaving Lito and Freekill alive. Lito's on the run, and Freekill is in a bad way.
Freekill down to a one shot pretty much. 264 HP. He's just behind that rock, and well, someone's going to have to go in and finish him off. Freekill does take down international though, so he is fighting his corner.
Yeah, it certainly is, but now Lito, what can you do, buddy?
Cap.
I'll just sit here and wait and hope. I'm sure it'll work out just fine. With 6 tanks against you. 6 tanks, that's a great idea. I think he'll dodge every shot. But you got to try something, right? You got to give it a go, and Phoenix on the way around, but Lito will probably be met by either Griffin or FC Dynamo initially. And well, he's doing a little bit of damage, but I don't think it's going to go too well.
No, he's going to get some shots off, and FC Dynamo will probably fall at this point. So it has been the closest game so far for momentum. Griffin going in. I think he's still got some shells left in that chamber. Ron's in behind, but Lito just doesn't have enough shells to be able to take it down. I don't think. Oh, he does. He probably does, actually. He's playing the M41. I'm not sure if he's using the autoload or not. If he is, I think he is. Oh.
And Lito is down and out. It will take a couple of seconds to register, but at the end of the day, we know what's happened, and there's the rest of GGWL play taking a bit of a dive afterwards, but they do pick up the win, and they do pick up the game overall at 5-0.
Yeah, big scoreline there for GGWL played.
Ouch.
Top damage on that map was actually international 2.3k coming out from that 251. Lito at the end doing 1.3k in that M41 Bulldog. So at least he fought his corner a little bit.
Yeah, he tried it.
But overall, a pretty one-sided match.
Yeah.
Maybe one of the most one-sided we've seen.
For some time.
It got close in some respects, but GGWL played. They won on the attack. They won on the defense despite the maps. And that just shows them that they were, a class above momentum in this match.
Considering that's 2 teams on the kind of rankings who are fairly close, 7th to 10th, and the difference in ability and skill was huge. So congratulations, GGWL played. You guys look like you've done the work over that. A little bit of a break in between the previous play day and today's. And they've just come out swinging. They look like they're in a good form here. And as you said, their attacking side has always been phenomenal in this. And they've proven it once again that they've not let it slip. However, we still have other games coming up today. And the next one on the board will be Drooling Leprechauns up against School Bus. So 2 classic teams going head-to-head. The Finns are going to have to pull out something incredible. Or maybe a little bit lucky to take down School Bus. So guys, if that sounds good, get involved on social media using that hashtag WGLEU. And let us know your thoughts on that matchup coming up. And while you do that, we'll be back after a very short break.